Sorry to keep you. Just one moment. Thank you. Okay, we have Foreign Secretary Johnson on the line. So if I connect you, can you put your Prime Minister on? Okay, one moment, and I'll put you on.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon. It's Boris Johnson here.
Good afternoon, Foreign Secretary. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you very well. Who is that?
This is Prime Minister
Pashinyan. Prime Minister, may I congratulate you very sincerely on your remarkable success, and I very much hope that the UK and Armenia can strengthen relations forthwith. And we were watching what happened, and I was particularly impressed by your role in keeping the protests that took place peaceful. I think it's been a great success, and I congratulate you. And I want you to know that the UK is here to help and to continue on the path, on a democratic path. And of course, we understand the difficulty of the balancing act that you must do between Russia and the West. But we want to offer you all the advice and the support that we can. So, Prime Minister Pashinyan, I was just ringing to say many congratulations.
Thank you a lot, Foreign Secretary, and let me apologize for this urgent call, and thank you for the time on your day off. Believe me, it's very important for me. Thank you for your congratulations, of course, and so we will work strong, and I hope
it seems to be thank you, and it seems to be a notable example of a peaceful democratic process.
Thank you. And this Thursday, I talked to Sir Duncan. We had a very fruitful talk.
Alan Duncan, yes.
Of course, I would like to get visa-free regime with Europe, and I spoke already with the President of European Commission, with Jean-Claude Juncker. But I understand that it's so long-term prospect, and we need to make many steps. And I hope that the UK will help us, and you may count on our humble support. For example, in the UN.
Well, Prime Minister Pashinyan, I'm so glad to hear that, and you can definitely count on the UK. And I admire your vision and what you're trying to achieve. Obviously, we had hoped to have better relations with Russia than we currently do. I'm afraid that Russia seems to be unable to resist malign activity of one kind or another, and we have to stand firm against them, though I appreciate that your geography dictates a balancing act, and we understand that. But our offer is there for support and encouragement, and to develop particularly our trading and investment relationships. And it would be great to welcome you to the UK whenever that would be convenient for you, though I imagine you have a lot on your plate at the moment.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your invitation. And in 1 month, I will shape new government. As you know, I have a meeting with President Putin in Sochi next week.
I know.
Yes, I need to be prepared. I hope he will not poison me with Novichok.
Well, it's very important, I think, Prime Minister, that we don't have a new Cold War. You know, I don't want that. Nobody in the UK wants that. I personally feel that Russia has made a terrible mistake with what they did in Wiltshire, what they did to try to kill Sergei and Yulia Skripal with Novichok. Their behavior is generally very, very disruptive, and it's bad for Russia. And if I have a message to Putin, is that it is, you know, we don't want a Cold War, but we do want to see an improvement in the way Russia behaves.
I agree, and as you know, I have a I just only talk to him by telephone. Probably you know him better. What should I expect from him? How should I behave? Could you give me your advice?
I think the only thing that the Russians respond to is, yes, I think the only thing the Russians respond to is determination and firmness. So I think you should be very clear with him about your ambitions and the vocation you see for Armenia, but you should stress that this does not amount to a threat to his interests, and that he should not meddle.
Yeah, but there is already war in Syria, for example, and it's not Cold War, but the war is going. And by the way,
yeah.
Are you sure that Putin ordered to poison Skripals? Very dark story. Well, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I think it's not in his interest.
I can tell you, we're like almost 100% sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and it is. Do you think it is not in his interest before the World Cup, and nobody knows that Skripals? Russia finds excuses and say that Britain has hidden Skripals and destroyed evidence and calls it frame up. How can we support you in this case?
Well, we would be very happy to share with you some more of the evidence that we may be able to produce in due course. We will be able to do more to illustrate that. But I think it's very important for the Russians to know that certainly the UK is absolutely determined to stand firm against them, and we will continue to tighten the squeeze on some of the oligarchs who surround Putin. I think the most effective measures that have been so far have been not just the sanctions for Ukraine, but the sanctions on people like Mr. Deripaska and Rusal, and we will continue to look at ways that we can tighten our grip, introduce fresh sanctions on those who may have ill-gotten gains, illicit or illegally acquired gains, who are associated with Vladimir Putin, and we will continue to do that.
Yeah, there are a lot of oligarchs, Russian oligarchs in the UK, I know, and so it's. I think you can find.
Yeah. You throw a stone in Kensington, and you'll hit an oligarch. But some of them are close to Putin, and some of them aren't. It takes some time.
But what I saw, there was no solid evidence against Russia, and the director of OPCW said that this gas can be produced in any country. Maybe they are he's wrong. But what do you think about new sanctions against Russia?
No, they're confirmed. It's definitely Russia. They confirmed it was a Novichok. No one else has produced a Novichok that we know of. So, I have no doubt.
Okay, because we were a part of Soviet Union, and we also had some bases in our country in Soviet period. We have some documents. We also could share it with you, and it's documents regarding that gas. So we researched Novichok, but only in goals to create antidotes.
How interesting! That would be very interesting. Well, I would love to come and see you in Armenia and find out about that. But we would certainly like to share any information you may have about that, or to find out about Armenia's Novichok experiences.
Yes, but I also know that the UK also created an antidote, so it's opened information, and so we did the same. So if you are research, if you develop Novichok in cases to create antidote, it's legal, as I know. So and I had some documents.
Really. Well, we'd certainly be very interested in seeing what you have.
But where are Skripals now? They are in the UK, or?
To the best of my knowledge, they're in the UK right now. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I hope that they will be okay. Everything will be okay with them.
I hope so.
I'm also concerned about Mr. Trump. Iran is our neighbor, and Trump's withdrawal from the deal will make the situation even more dangerous. I talked to President Juncker. He promised to continue his efforts to convince Trump not to do it, but I'm afraid it is useless. Trump won't listen to anyone, maybe except Mr. Putin.
Well, I don't know what communications Mr. Putin had with Mr. Trump, but certainly we were unable to persuade him to keep to keep America in the existing JCPOA. But we will do our best to keep the deal going. So the UK remains committed to the deal, and we will certainly want to try to protect the regional security of, and indeed to stop Iran securing a nuclear weapon. That remains our objective, and I hope we can count on your cooperation to achieve that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can be sure that we will support, and I also ready to come to the UK if I will have a time and schedule, and I'm also worried about situation in Syria now. We also could cooperate our politics in the UN together to press.
We should definitely do that. Let's do that.
To press on Russia,
and they showed
some evidences that boy from Duma, the guy who is from. They showed that movies from Duma were fakes with the child. Probably what was in OBC.
I didn't see that, but the seemed to be very conclusive that it was chlorine gas was used by the regime, and almost certainly with Russian knowledge.
And they showed a video with bombs, and it was written like it made in Salisbury. How do you think? Is it fake or not?
I think that was fake. Yes.
Well, I'm looking forward to you visit to Armenia, and we can discuss all the prospects of our cooperation. By the way, I'm a fan of your poetry, your sharp epigrams. I really like the one about President Erdogan. It was bold. Fellow from Ankara. Well, welcome to our country. Welcome to.
You're very kind. Thank you, Prime Minister, and thank you very much for taking the phone call. And I look forward to seeing you in London in due course, whenever you find the time.
I also would like to welcome to our country too, and please try our wine and shashlik.
I certainly shall.
And the last thing that I would say, I'm not sure if I should share this information because I'm not absolutely sure about. As you know, I talked to Mr. Putin by telephone, and he was quite open. He said that he is a very powerful man, and that even in the UK he has his people at power. He says that he has influenced the leader of Labour Party, Mr. Corbyn.
Really? Well, that did he tell you that?
Yeah, he told me. Yes, he told me that.
Really? What he told you that he was influencing Jeremy Corbyn?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Did he go into any detail, or did he just say that Jeremy Corbyn was somebody he was able to influence?
Well, I don't know that, but he said that Mr. Putin's God's daughter, Ksenia Sobchak, who is a host of low-quality TV programs, she visited London the other day and met with people of Mr. Corbyn and gave them money for the Kremlin. Well, I'm not sure if Putin was trying me on, but you and your intelligence must be aware. On Monday in Sochi, I will try to find our details if he feels free to talk. I can get in touch with you and share the information. And please don't make our telephone talk public yet.
Yes. So Ksenia Sobchak.
Yes,
Ksenia. Was she the person who stood against? She stood against Putin in the election, didn't she?
Yes, but it was a fake candidate, as you know. She's daughter of she's a daughter of Sobchak. He was a mayor of St. Petersburg and Putin.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's very important information, and I hope that it will be confidential for us.
Yes, also, I will certainly keep that confidential.
Yeah.
But what is the suggestion that Ksenia Sobchak went to London? No.
Yeah. Yes, she was in London recently. It was a meeting.
She met some people from the Labour Party?
Yes. As I know, yes. I hope you will talk with the intelligence to discuss and see what she did.
Extremely interesting, Prime Minister. I'm sure our intelligence will be listening on this line, and they will draw the relevant conclusions, I'm sure. Thank you very much for that interesting tidbit of information.
And you know,
anyway,
the last I spoke with the president of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko, recently
too. Yes, how is he?
Yes, he's okay, and he had a meeting with the Prime Minister of Poland, Mateusz Morawiecki, and it was an accident. He fell down. He was poisoned, but he had a special antidote. He has a special antidote. He keeps it with him always. Antidote. Did you hear about opochmel?
No.
It's O-P-O-H, opochmel.
O-P-O-H.
M-E-L, opochmel.
Opochmel.
Opochmel, yes. So it's useful. And you also could be interested in it. I just would like to advise you to use it. Maybe you will ask your assistants. Hello? Hello? Something happened.